Well, we're back today in the final season of our Build a Nation, looking to make history. We've got a great chance to get through in the last 16 round of the Champions League, and a quarter-final would be a fitting achievement for the first time in our final year. However, we've also got a fun game in another competition too, and that one is full circle from our last Build a Nation back in FM21. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 183 of this Build a Nation story, Lifting Spirits with me, Daniel. We are back today with a winnable home tie against Valencia in the second leg of our round of 16 Champions League tie. We drew 1-1 away from home at the new Mestalla, which probably isn't the new Mestalla anymore in 2042. And then we go away to Raith Rovers in the SPFL Trust Trophy, which is a fun game for those of you that have been following since FM21 and I'll Build a Nation over there with Bangor City, because of course you may remember they were the stars of that save. So if you're looking forward to this double header as history beckons, then please do put a thumbs up on it. But first, I've got to refer to the title because it was a deadline day hammer blow for us. If we go over to the transfer history, one player who threw his toys out the pram very quickly and also had a minimum fee release clause was this man, David Del Guidice. Now, I can look at this two ways. He went to Bournemouth for just under 9 million quid on deadline day. A hugely underpriced value in terms of his quality, in terms of his potential, whatever else. But let's look at this in a positive way. He played for us for 4 months, made 13 appearances, threw his toys out the pram, and we made a £9 million profit. So if you look at it from that side of things, we did really well. If you look at what could have been, it's probably a disappointment. But for me, I'm going to see it as 9 million gained and a problem off the books for the morale, which for this last season is not a disaster. Replacing him, we've had Becerra, we've had Leary, they're both doing well. And in on deadline day came Philip Buchanan. We mentioned him in the last episode, we made the bid. A solid backup keeper to do a job for us. He's made 4 appearances already, kept 2 clean sheets in the league, and we look pretty good, so I've no complaints about him. Let's go and have a look at the schedule though, because since you were with me, we've had some really good results. Through February, we won the Antrim Shield final by 3-0. Leary, Hendry and Rodriguez there. We won the League Cup final by 6-1. Bayavang and Rodriguez with a brace each, Leary getting 1 and so did Rauha. And then since then, we drew the first leg away from home in the Champions League. Diego Rodriguez scoring in that one. A late goal broke our hearts because we could have been very, very close to already being through there. We played the back 5 in that one. It worked well in containing. But now we move on to the second leg and hopefully with it greater success. I should mention that we almost went out to Glentoran 3 days earlier. And a few first teamers had to play extra minutes off the bench because we were in trouble in that tie. But we got through. And now we're on course for the domestic clean sweep and maybe Champions League history. Will we find disappointment tonight? Well, let's go and find out. Becerra is the man we can't register in the squad. Declan Hendry is doubtful. We've had a lot of attacking injuries in recent months. And we'll also go and have a look at how the other sides in the nation have got on in Europe. But we might as well wait until Thursday now when they've played as well. So let's go and get through to the fixtures quickly. I should mention one other thing, which was we had our youth intake. It was dismal. No one with more than 2-star potential. So I'm not even going to waste my time with that in this final season. We're going to go straight through to the biggest home game. And there is the confirmation I was waiting for. We are back in the new Grosvenor Stadium, but it has not got enough seating for the knockout round of the Champions League. Because although it is now a 10,500 capacity stadium, which is fine, the big problem we've got is that only 4,000 of its seating. And as I've mentioned before, that isn't something you can request to upgrade in FM, which I find a real shame. But either way, we're going to go and get through to this. We're going to get our best 11 picked. We're at home, so we're going to go for the 4-2-3-1. We've unfortunately had to play 2 games since last Tuesday when we played the first leg. So let's see how we can get people out today, whether they're fit enough to get a start, and hopefully they can produce a performance for us, because this could be a historic moment. Well, a couple of simple choices in our team tonight with Declan Hendry out and not fit. Do we go for Rauha or Leary in that attacking berth? And quite frankly, Rauha has been in better form. He's also fitter than Leary. And I feel he's the man to go for here. So he comes in from the start. And you can see also on the bench, Declan Hendry. It says 75 minutes of action. He's coming back from a twisted ankle. But I've thrown him on the bench in case we need him. Because there's no bigger game than this if we lose it. So we've just got to get the job done. The rest of the subs you could probably pick. The rest of the lineup won't surprise you. It is Ekon in goal. Freeman has had a knock at the weekend. So he is out at right back. He's the only one still unhappy from that bunch in January as well. O'Donnell and Purich the centre halves with Azier over at left back. Xavier and Montero the midfield too. Rivera and Rodriguez the wide men. And then Ademir Balikci behind Ricardo Rauha, who is going to be our superstar today up front. We've got a good team. We've got a competitive side. But at home to Valencia, it could go very wrong. They've got 2 players on over 400 grand a week. So let's get through all of the intros and all of the Champions League music. And then straight over to the first half highlights. Well, 13 minutes gone in what has been a quiet first half so far. The men to watch out for Valencia are their midfield too. Is that a penalty? Referee's going to VAR and he's blown for it, which might get us away with one here. I don't actually know who would take it because normally Declan Hendry is the best penalty taker. We're going to have to keep an eye on this. Rodriguez is fouled. The penalty is awarded and Ademir Balikci will be taking it. He steadies himself for the spot kick, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. And with 14 minutes gone, we are ahead in a Champions League last 16 tie. I'm not going to get too excited because we all remember what happened against Barcelona last year. But it's a good start, and that's all it is for now. As Rauha picks up the ball and carries it forward. We are able to play positively in these games now, but there, we've given the ball away quite easily. O'Donnell does well to deal with it defensively though. And Reed finds Xavier Sinter, who's passed it straight back to them, left them 3-on-3. Oh, what a stupid mistake. What a time for it. I mean, this goal's going to count. It definitely wasn't offside. Lee O'Donnell was 3 or 4 yards behind them. The goal's awarded. It's an absolute catastrophe at the back. And you can't afford to get away with those. A really poor goal to concede. And we're the biggest architect of our own downfall again. And now, Rivera has got a tight hamstring. There's no point risking it. The only question is whether I go for Rauha or Leary. And for now, I'm going to go Leary, who you can see is just as good, a bit more attacking minded. And hopefully he'll give us that impetus. As Montero, he's given the ball away. Seems to be catching in this team today. Toro flicks it on. Now he's giving it away for Valencia. Azier finds Montero. Chips over the top. Tarrega away. Ademir Balikci down. He gives it away. Leary fights to win it back. A 17 or 18-year-old. He's flying. Down the right he goes. There's options in the middle. Leary cuts back. Finds Gavin Reed. Xavier's up with him. Can he keep the ball this time? Finds Leary. Back to Montero. Shots blocked as far as Balikci. Down to Leary. Hits the crossbar. And it's off the line on the rebound. Oh, you're not going to get much closer than that. Didn't this happen against Barcelona last year? We were a goal up and hit the woodwork and then it fell apart. This time we've done it while we're level. And it's just starting to give that impression again. It's not going to be our night. A full Windsor Park is enjoying this performance. We're beating Valencia in every other stat. But we cannot get the goal to show for it. And at the moment, due to a defensive lapse, it is 1-1 on the night and 2-2 on aggregate. And we are no closer to finding out who gets through. Lisburn Distillery, potentially 1 goal from history here. But we've been in this stage before and we've fallen apart before. I'm going to make the big gamble now. We're going to take off Xavier, who's had a poor game. Bayavang on for him. And Declan Hendry, well, you might as well do it. On he comes for Rauha, who's had a stinker. We're going to chuck him up front. He's the best striker in the team. And he's also got the extra physical edge, the extra aerial threat. As Reed puts the corner in. Here comes Purich. Heads it just wide. Oh, it won't go in. It just will not go in. The expected goals is close to 2. Valencia's not even half. And Purich picks the ball up at the back as we start another wave of attacks. Don't give the ball away. Montero with a big switch to Leary. He's done well since he's come on. Finds Bayavang another sub. Through to Leary again. He gives the ball away. Curse of the commentator. Azier back to Purich. Montero. Into Bayavang. Support on the right from Leary and Gavin Reed. He gets to the byline. What a chance for him to be the hero. Cross is just over here. Balikci down for Rodriguez. Oh, I thought that was in too. And the problem we've got now with 15 to go. You can see it with that warning about Balikci. As Rodriguez has got a free kick. Dangerous position. Purich up heads over. is that the whole team is knackered. Look at Gavin Reid, look at Puric, Azier. None of them have got legs left. And O'Donnell finds that Balikci here, but we have got to get the goal. This goes to extra time, we're in trouble. Declan Hendry! That's why we threw him on injured. Ryan Leary sets it up, it's brilliant play from him. But God, we've missed that ruthless edge. Declan Hendry with his 50th goal of the season. And I kid you not, he will not score one more important than that. 7 minutes to go. We're going to take Rodriguez off for Zheng. Bit of pace, bit of professionalism out wide. And I don't know whether I do Puric on a yellow. Do I throw Azier off a left back? Or do I even go for Gavin Reid? Because Freeman's not fully fit. He is the best right back at the club. I don't know. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring Houston on for Balikci. And I'm going to put Bayavang further forward because Houston's a bit more defensive minded. He gives us extra legs in that midfield alongside Bayavang. And hopefully that will see us through here. As Guzman gets it at right back. Do not make another mistake. There's Peng Hua, who we mentioned in the middle. Bit of a danger man for them. One of the big earners. One of the star midfielders. At the moment, they're looking for the opportunity, but we're pressing them well. Montero does really well there. Puric just hoofs it down the line, and this is where Zheng is at his best. Takes on the fullback. He's isolated in one-on-one. Cuts it back to Houston. He'll cross to Leary. Ball into the box. Declan Hendry's up. And the rebound's wide. How did he not score it? The first one's a good save, but the rebound's got to go in. With 1 minute of stoppage time to go. We are 60 seconds from a Champions League quarter-final. We've dropped to balanced. We've got the time wasting on. But what on earth is it going to do for us here? Long ball forward. Montero deals with it really well. Azier back to Puric in the Houston. Oh no, no, not like that. Don't give it away there now. Rodrigo through. They've got a 4-on-4. Where's the defence gone? Torrent into the box. Oh, deflected off over the keeper. You just felt like it was going to happen, didn't you? Peng Hua loses the ball to Zheng. And Rebella switches it. Zheng's now out of position. It's a 2-on-1 via tired Azier. Guzman puts it over the bar. And surely that is it. Surely a Champions League quarter-final. It's taken 20 years. It has taken one hell of a rebuild with a load of bumps in the road. It took us over a decade to win a domestic title. And no, this isn't the end goal we maybe hoped for. But for the first time in Lisburn Distillery's history, we reach a Champions League quarter-final with a wonderful win against Valencia. Let's go and get through and see if we can find out who we're facing and whether any of the other Northern Irish sides can get through in the other competitions. Well, I think it's quarterfinals and bust, to be honest with you, because Lisburn Distillery have drawn Manchester City, who are just about the best side in Europe. They are wonderful. They've still got Pep Guardiola in charge, remarkably. Let's have a look at their records. They last won the Champions League when? In 2036. They've been runners-up 2 of the last 5 years. They've won the Premier League 2 years in a row. They're definitely returning to former glories, if nothing else. So, not going to be the easiest tie that. If we win it, it's either Celtic or Barcelona, and we know we can challenge both of those, but Manchester City, I think, might be the final nail in the coffin in this episode. Unfortunately, it's likely to be the hurdle at which we fall. Raith Rovers up next in the SPFL trophy, but let me quickly show you what the other sides did in Europe. Napoli have beaten Linfield narrowly in both legs, but Emmett McNair did score in the first one. Bit worried that he's starting for them in that competition. For Larne, it was a disappointing day against Manchester United. A 7-1 aggregate defeat, not the best. And Coleraine actually managed to fall around before they went out to Bartei Borisov on penalties, which was not ideal, even though the January signing scored one of the goals. So all of the other Northern Irish sides out. The coefficients actually still had a good year because most of the clubs won more group games than they normally would. So if I show you Europe very quickly, it's a bit frustrating for me, but great for you guys taking a save on. Northern Ireland is actually due to go up to maybe even 8th, depending on how Greece does. So depending on whether we can get a result against City, you might be a top 8 side, but certainly back in the top 10. Let's go and get through to Sunday though, and play the stars of our FM21 Builder Nation. Well, we didn't even get till Sunday. It's a Saturday afternoon game against Raith Rovers, which virtually rules out our first team for this game. We've got another 2 League Ones in the next 6 days anyway, before the international break, so I don't think we want to be getting too worried about that for now. We're going to have to play our reserve team plus whoever's fit on the bench. So let's go and get through to the lineups. I'm sure Raith aren't as good as they were in that other save because here they must still be in the Scottish Championship. Where are they placed at the minute? Third in the Scottish Championship. Let's pick our team to beat them. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, this is what we've managed to piece together. It's not ideal, but it should have a bit of firepower in it still. We've got our best 2 fullbacks, best goalkeeper and best centre forward in the team. And that is because Declan Hendry is continuing his return to fitness. He'll get a little rest on Tuesday night, and we've chucked Timofeyev on the bench despite not being fully fit. Gorman, the youngster, on there, another one who's now wanted by Linfield. And the rest of the team is as follows. We've got David Ekon in goal. Freeman and Azier the fullbacks with Schweb and Thompson the centre halves. Schweb will definitely be off this summer if we continue. Gunders and Houston the midfield too. And you may have noticed the irony here. We signed Gunders so we could play a holding midfielder in the Champions League, and he will now be ineligible against his parent club. Excellent stuff. We've got Becerra and Zheng out wide, Paleka behind Hendry up front, and with that, a few problems further down the line to think about. But for now, it's all about Raith Rovers. Stars of the show in FM21. What can they do to us in a 23 edition? Well, no, for older viewers, Raith have not got anyone as good as Greg Pringle, and they've not tried to steal anyone of us. However, they are going to be a decent side. They did try and sign Duncan McKenzie a few years ago, didn't they? So they have tried to nick someone off us before, but they've not got that top-class striker. And although we've not put our best side together, we've got Houston in there for the Scottish experience. We've got people who have won this competition before. And then a couple of them, like Becerra, like Gunders, are a bit fresher than the rest. It's Freeman with a throw on the right-hand side. 25 gone. Been a very quiet game so far, and we've not quite been as fluent and as lethal in front of goal because we're playing more games than ever before. The last 8 of the Champions League means we're playing a ridiculous number of games there. We're then going for the clean sweep in all the competitions. And next season, for 1 year only, back down to 11th in the coefficient, you'll be playing in a Champions League playoff again, so you could have even more matches. As Paleka gets the ball to Gunders, Becerra holds it up, cuts in from the right, has options wide but goes back to Schweb. And here's Houston again to Gunders. Good ball to Becerra. I've got to say it, if it hadn't been for the fact that Del Gradice was going and that we'd had injuries out wide in January, he would have come in and gone out on loan like Rauha did a couple of years ago. I'm so glad he didn't. He's been a fabulous signing for this football club. He's played 5 games from the start, or 6 now, and scored 5 goals. Also made a few sub appearances too. He's been a really good player and deserves a lot of credit for his attitude because I left him out the Champions League squad through necessity and he's delivered when it matters most, though we've got a free kick to defend at the other end. We know the wall is not going to cover itself in glory. Is the goalkeeper going to save us? Not quite. Is it saved? Oh, it might have been. I thought it was woodwork, but a corner given. David Ekon deserves some big credit as Bradbury has got a corner kick in swinger to the back stick and knocked down. Schweb will clear it away. Comfortable work for him so far. And with 5 to the break, we're dominant, but we should have scored more than 1. They're still in this game, you know. Well, through the dressing room at half-time, we're going to ask the lads to prove a point, show them what you can do. We've had the dominance in this game, we've had the chances to be more than 1 up, but we've not taken them. We know Declan Hendry has probably only got an hour in him. We know the same is true probably of 2 or 3 others, and the centre-halves are having an absolute stinker, so it's not a good situation really. Hendry is going to come off after this highlight, but first is Cameron Thompson to Paleka. And now Gunders wide to Becerra. The good thing I guess is we have got options in multiple positions, so Becerra or Paleka can go up front. We can move people around if need be. It doesn't have to be a like-for-like swap up there. As Houston chips it up towards Zheng, it's pretty aimless to be honest. And now Raith Rovers can break away. Cameron Thompson does well though, finds Schweb. Azier, struggling after 2 games this week. Gives it to Hector Schweb again, and now we bring it into midfield. Ender Gunders. Gutted that we're not going to be able to play him against City. We will find a way as Paleka releases Hendry. Could be the perfect way to sign off today. Declan Hendry makes it 2-0. Should have wrapped the game up for us. And now we can come off for Ryan Leary. I'm just going to leave the rest a few more minutes because ideally I would like to replace the fullbacks. I'd like to make a change in midfield, but we've only got 3 subs in this competition, so we need to be careful with them. I think we are going to have to take off Azier though because he's played so many minutes in the last week that we've got to protect him a bit. Let's make sure we don't concede first though, as Zheng goes back to Azier. We can get a third, we can relax a bit. Through ball towards Leary, who can't quite get there. and it's cleared long downfield as far as Thompson. Hector Schweb to Azier. He carries the ball down the left, chipped over. Leary gets onto it. Brilliant finish, Ryan Leary. He will end up being one of the best players in world football. A shame we're not going to get to see it. But if you do carry on this save in the future, let me know how he gets on, because I've got high hopes for the kid. Timofeyev will get 20 minutes at left back. I'm going to bring on Gorman for somebody. Maybe Freeman, you know. I'm going to put Gunders out at right back. It's not ideal, but it'll do. And Gorman will come on in centre mid, because I want to protect my first choice fullbacks. They're going to play midweek. Let's see how they get on. We should be game over at 3-0. It shouldn't really be a risk to put Gunders there. And he's only a lone player after all. It doesn't matter what we do. We've got 15 minutes to go. This is game over. And after the midweek game, the exertion from the team, the amount of changes we've had to make, this is a really professional display. I'm thrilled with the lads. As here comes Leary, a chance to score a second. Free kick in a good position. Just wide of the post. Where are all the Raith fans today? They should be coming out to watch us. We broke our gate receipts record in midweek. We had a record attendance of 22,500 at Windsor Park. And here we can't even get 2,500 to watch us in Scotland as Paleka, away down the left. His roll has dwindled this year, and he should have scored there. How has that rolled wide? Looked too acute an angle to go through without hitting the post. But it's done it. It doesn't matter too much. It's a big 3-0 win. And I think you all know when we're going to be back next. We've got the final of this to contend with very soon. We ain't going to worry about that. We are going to be back for 2 legs of a Champions League quarter-final that may or may not end up being the final regular episode of this series. Because if we go out, I think it's pretty much job done. Especially with Linfield coming before that in the semi-final of the Northern Irish Cup. We've got TNS in the SPFL final, which will be fun as well. They've dwindled a bit in recent years. But we will be back for City home and away. History with a Champions League quarter-final. I'm so glad we made it to one before we ended the save. But will it go any further? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I think we all know the answer to that. But can Ryan Leary haunt his old club? It doesn't say that Gunders is unavailable, so maybe we will have him. We'll have to wait and see. If you want to stay up to date and find out and you did enjoy this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe and turn that notification bell on, as we'll have that episode the same time tomorrow. There's also going to be a special in between now and then, so keep your eyes peeled for that too. Plenty of FM24 save ideas and my save plans up in the eye above, as well as the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and an awful lot more. Thank you very much for watching as always. I do greatly appreciate it. We're coming towards a thrilling climax, but will it all come crashing down tomorrow? I'll see you there to find out.